How you guys doing?
Hey, good.
Cool. All right. Let's rock and roll. So we're going to start out, like you said, just introduce yourself. Give a little background maybe on your social media expertise, your experience, what you feel like you're really good at, and then we're home some questions. Hopefully Mike's going to get some. We'll see.
Hey, I'm Jake McAfee, team leader with the McAfee Home Group. Got into real estate in 2012. Didn't really get into social media until a couple years ago. I was kind of the impression like it's fake. You know, I'm more of like a real personal guy. And probably about 2019, 2020, I started leaning into it and just kind of have snowballed from there. So I would say we're trying video. We could definitely be better. I would say I'm trying to be good at keeping an open mind and just try new things.
This audience is great. We got signs this time? This is like a sporting event. This is crazy. All right, love it.
Yeah, where are my signs? Come on, team.
This is just one time on stage, guys. You don't have signs for Jake? This is crazy.
Jeez.
Oh my goodness. So let's dive in a little bit specifically to what social media platforms each of you use, right? So I think you all dabble in quite a few of them, but just tell us what you use and what your main source of social media presence is on.
Sure. Facebook. I think part of that is just my generation. Like, I got on Facebook in 2005, so I feel like that's where kind of a lot of my demographic was. I've started leaning into Instagram the last couple years, definitely YouTube. That's a goal for this year is, trying to grow subscribers on YouTube for different reasons, which I'm sure we'll get into. I think we're leaving opportunity on the table with TikTok, but if everybody wants to look at Erica and Wada there and make them uncomfortable, they're going to be heading up our TikTok.
Division?
Yeah, our TikTok division. But that's probably like, just trying to embrace wherever the eyeballs are. I don't really have like a platform that I care about that much. It's just kind of where people are.
I know a question that I'm sure a lot of people are curious about is the idea of like, can you post too often? So I'd love to hear how many times, let's just say per week or, that you guys typically post.
We're probably posting, you're not counting stories, right? Like just strictly posts?
Just posts, yeah.
Probably around like 15 to 20 times a week. I think that should increase. And our thought process on that, I think a mistake that some people make is like, well, I don't want to post too much because that's too much. But if you're mixing up your content, you can't make subjective opinions on like, well, this post is really good, because what if it's not as good? That's for the audience to decide. So if you post, 4 or 5 times in a day, 3 might be clunkers, but 1 might resonate, or each thing may resonate with a different person. Like if I do a golf video, that's going to hit a subset of people. If I post a garden picture, that's going to hit a subset of people. As long as it's like something you're genuinely interested in and you're not trying to like, oh, people like cats, so I'm going to post cats. Like, don't do that. Like, I think if you're talking about something you enjoy, then you can't post too much because, and that you also got to think too, like not every post is going to be like God's gift of posting. Like sometimes people are busy and they're going to scroll past it, but post number 9 for some reason will catch their eye and they'll stop on what you're doing. So like, don't worry if the first 8 they went past, like who cares, Like don't put so much like credence in that.
Some of you guys might be sitting there thinking, I don't post 1 time a week, right? Or I don't post that many times, in a month, Jake's saying 13, 15 times in a week, right? That might scare some of you. So I know a question that I have for you guys is if someone's sitting in the room that maybe isn't in social media, not doing a lot with it currently, what would be kind of your first step to take in order to become, more social media fluent, I should say?
I think I would take a hard look at like why you're not posting and like be honest with yourself. Like, are you afraid that someone's going to make fun of you? Are you afraid that maybe you've gained weight and you're like, well, I don't like the way I look on camera? It's like, everybody knows what you look like. So you're not like tricking anyone. You know what I mean? Like we already know. So I think.
I love it. That's what we're here for.
I mean that in a nice way. Like we already know, you know what I mean? Like you guys know what I look like if I gain weight, whatever. So my point is I think like take a hard look at like why you're not posting and that's probably what I would start with and like don't judge yourself. Like if you've never posted, you've probably missed some opportunity, but who cares? You know what I mean? Like you can only start with today. So like if I'm someone in the audience right now who's never posted, I would snap a picture of like the stage and post it, or like take a video and hey, I'm going to try something new. I've never made a video. you can lean into it. Like, I'm really uncomfortable, like just be honest about it. Cause I think a mistake people make is they try to be like too perfect. And like we get marketed to so much, billboards and ads and everything. And when you're perfect, I feel like it's almost like people like don't even believe it. But if you lean into it and you like say like, hey, I've never made a video, I'm super nervous, but I wanted to connect with you guys. And if you have a real estate question, let me know, or like whatever, and I think that'll resonate a lot more than like the video you paid $500 for, where it's like you like looking perfect, like I think that won't resonate as much as like being authentic.
But I want to touch on something that I heard from all four of you, and you all talk about your people, right? Your people, which you all have your own people, right? Your sphere. And I think where some people miss the boat is they try, like I forget one of you said it, but they try to do too much on too many platforms when your audience and your sphere isn't even on those platforms. I've tried stuff and I'm like, hey, no one's here. No one's even seeing my stuff. All my people are on Facebook. That's just what you guys think about that. How do you reach your sphere? How do you determine where they are?
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree respectfully. You guys are doing a good job. I think a mistake. How many people here have never tried oysters? Has anyone never tried oysters in your whole life? Have you decided that you don't like them? How do you know? So where I'm taking that is, I think too often we say like, oh, well, TikTok's not going to work for me, because my age isn't on there, or Instagram doesn't work for me. I think the only really way to know that is to try it. And so, my advice would be if you're, either trying to go to the next level or trying to do something different, is to try it. And then if you've determined that it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But to make statements about what doesn't work when you haven't tried is, I think you're potentially missing an opportunity. And I think what really a lot of times, and not you guys are very intentional. So I'm just saying, like, people who don't even post at all tell themselves it doesn't work because they just don't want to do it because they're afraid to look silly. They post a TikTok, they might get made fun of by the people that are their age that aren't on TikTok. And they're like, you're on TikTok? That's for kids, and then they feel embarrassed. So my advice would be post on TikTok, post on Instagram, post on YouTube, post on Twitter, post on all of them, and genuinely engage with the people that are on those platforms, and then kind of see what happens. And also go in post contextually. You don't act the same at the office as you do like at a bar or a nightclub, right? So, you can think of like LinkedIn is like the office, and Instagram is the nightclub. So, I think posting contextually to the platform is also really important. Like if you make one post, spray it across them all, and then people interact on Facebook, where you're like, well, I'm just gonna stick with Facebook. But I don't think that's giving it a fair chance. I think like to really know if a platform works, you have to, like, you don't drive a tractor the same way you drive like a Ferrari. You know what I mean? Like you have to like pay attention to the tool that you're using and then figure out like how to use it best and if it's for you and if you like it.
This is for Jake and for Chris, but let's dive into switch gears a little bit and talk about video. Both of you guys are really heavy into video.
Well, I think it's really important to, like if you've read the book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Dr. Stephen Covey says, begin with the end in mind. So I think beginning with the end in mind is a big deal. A couple things actually I want to go back and touch on, but it'll tie into this, is you brought up a good point about engaging. So social media will show your post to more people if you engage. So if you post, you should engage for about an hour after that. If you don't, what they're trying to avoid is spam. Like you just post and then you bounce. Because if everyone did that, it would just be running billboards that nobody wants to watch. So that's part of it. Also, not getting too caught up in likes, because I've had people come up to me and mention posts to me that never have engaged in one single post. And they're like, man, I love that video that you did about, I'm like, could you throw me a bone, like it or something? But don't get too caught up. Like just because you don't have as many likes doesn't mean that they don't like it. So with that being said, I would say with video, I think it really, again, beginning with the end in mind on, we sell really hard every day, 8 to 10. Our team pounds the phones, so that like I'm all about sales. However, with social media, I'm not measuring success in how many closings I have, because I think too many times people come in and they're asking before they're giving. Like people are so busy, like you said, it's a cluttered space. And if you go in and it's like, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy a house, people are just like, yeah, no thanks. And you can tell when someone jumps into like, anything, contractors, whatever, they join a multi-level marketing and all of a sudden they're just hammering you with their stuff. And it's like, I think you should focus on posting like with the viewer in mind. Like what's their mindset when they're watching this? Like what would be interesting to them? And then making videos that genuinely engage with people, and don't try to close them. Again, nothing wrong with closing. We sell every single day. We hit the phones hard. But in these posts, I think if you're talking about marketing, make a video about anything you like. It doesn't matter if you knit, if you garden, if you bowl. Like make videos about that, and you'll find your tribe, like they say in marketing books. Like you'll find your tribe by doing things that you genuinely care about, and you'll stick with it more. Like if you don't want to be like up on stage talking and making video, then don't do that. You know what I mean? Like do things that you genuinely care about, and don't measure how that video went based on how many people watch it or like it. Even if 10 people watch it, that's 10 people who like watched what you did that day. That's actually pretty awesome in and of itself. Like 10 people, I can't believe 10 people watch what I did. It's like, that's crazy. So I think like just figuring out a goal for the video and then post it, and don't get too caught up. Like a mistake I made was trying to have all the perfect equipment and do everything. And I bought a tripod, and then I made a video 3 years later. That's a true story. And so it was when COVID hit, and I'm like, you have no excuse now. You don't even have any business. You have to make a video now. So I think that's it. Don't get too caught up in the X's and O's, and just make a video.
Thanks, Jake. Question. Theo had a question for you. Do you make all your own videos, or do you have someone else do it? And if you make your own videos, how did you guys learn?
I have the most annoying cameraman on the planet.
Wait, is that him right there?
That's him right there.
Man,
Yeah. I do make something. I'm trying to eventually phase out of that, but that's what I'm doing right now. No, I edit. Just Badger filming them. So no, you support the guy on camera. I'm going to kind of respond to something you guys said, and it kind of goes back to what I said about beginning with the end in mind. So he's like, first and foremost, I want to be known as a realtor. I don't. I'm trying to hold my breath as long as I possibly can without asking you for something. I don't know. I might run for like city council one day. I don't know. Probably not. If they go back to like 05 posts, then that'll rule me out. But my point is, like, I think beginning of like, what is your strategy? Like if your KPI, your key performance indicator is closing sales, then go real hard on real estate. But my KPI is not sales. Like I'm not measuring my success in real estate based on how many sales I make, or my success on social media based on sales I make. So like I'm comfortable with that, but I think that's a key distinction, is like starting with that in mind, where again, I don't want to be known as a realtor first and foremost. I'm just trying to be like a hardworking, honest person who's like occasionally posts something worth looking at. And then the longer you can hold your breath and the longer you can build that, then you can leverage it into something down the road.
Business page versus personal page. Like, how do you separate those? How do you have followers, or how do you get your friends to follow your business pages? Or are most of your friends on your personal page where you do a balance of both? What do you guys do? Rapid fire on this one.
All right. So I wouldn't worry about people following your business page. Business pages are there to run ads. That's basically what they're there for. They're going to show very few people. You have almost no organic reach on a business page. So it doesn't really matter. Even if you have like thousands of people, a small percentage are going to see it. You'll have more organic reach on your personal page. So I would use it as a placeholder for running ads and not get too caught up in like, here, I'm professional, but I'm here. Like just be yourself and run ads on the business page.
So the question is, what is the best time of day or day have you found to post content? Or / the question specifically was going Facebook Live. So if you're doing a Facebook Live video, traction during the day, or what time and what day of the weekend?
I would say I don't really get super caught up into that. Like our bigger videos we do Sunday night, but I think it depends on where you're at. Like if you're on Chris's level, he's going to have an awesome answer to this. I already know. If you're just getting started, I think that's the type of stuff that is a way to procrastinate. Like, do I do it in the morning or at night? Like, just do it. Just post in the morning and at night. And then do that for 6 months and see which one has better engagement if you really care. I personally don't care. We post all day.
This is for anybody. Whoever wants to answer this, you have something to say. I love this question. But once you guys get traction on, or if you get engagement on a post, right, or content that you're using on Facebook, social media, what do you do with that engagement? Like, what's the tangible step for all of you or each of you to take that engagement? Do you track that anyway? Is there any specific reach outs that you do?
The first thing I do is I rub it in Michael's face. It depends on what I'm trying to do. If it's a real estate post, then I'll probably put more money behind it. If it's a more personal or not real estate post, then I'll just kind of let it ride and be happy that one resonated and move on to the next one.
Does anybody have any expertise or thoughts on LinkedIn?
I wouldn't say expertise, but so the opportunity with LinkedIn is, my wife used to be a recruiter. It was a recruiting tool. That was it. It was a recruiting tool. And the reason LinkedIn is an opportunity right now is because there is more people consuming the content than are posting, which is the same reason TikTok is big. You can have no followers on TikTok and go viral, and you can get more organic reach with LinkedIn. And if you're a marketer, you want as much free or organic reach as you can get. Where Facebook, it's in and out. And the only way to stay in front of people is if you're going to keep putting money behind it, or if you really catch fire, and even then, they're going to make you pay because there's so many people posting. So I think the opportunity with LinkedIn is it's almost like Facebook, 2013, 14, where there's just people still look at it as like a recruiting tool. And so with less content, your posts are going to get further because they need to fill those pipes for eyeballs to see.
Do you guys use post scheduling, or how do you guys do that?
I do not use a post scheduler. I think a step down the road will be someone to schedule the real estate stuff. But I think, in the same, like with the auto posting, the risk that you lose there is like, yes, you check the box, but if everyone did auto posting, then no one would be engaging, and Instagram knows that. So, or whoever, they know that. So when it comes from a third party source that's been scheduled, they know you're not engaging, and they're not going to show you, they're not going to reward you. They're actually going to punish you because they want, ultimately they want people to look. That's why you can go viral, because they want eyeballs on it, because if they have eyeballs on it, they can charge more for ads. So all they really care about is what people do and what they look at. So when you auto post, they know you're not engaging, and then they bring you down.
That will be the last question that we dive into, is how do you track success with your social media?
Not really. I mean, again, but my to use a phrase again, my KPI is not converting people into sales. We know now if we post a listing, we run ads with it. Yes, we track that. But really what I'm trying to do is just continually put out content that resonates with people. I have a podcast. I don't say I'm a real estate agent in it. I just interviewed a restaurant owner. I didn't say I was a real estate agent in it. I do golf videos. I don't say I'm a real estate agent in it. Not even at the end. Not call me hey, gotcha. It's like I just live my life and try to put it on the internet. And if that resonates and helps me connect with people in an organic way, that's great, because I'm not trying to convert them into a sale. So I don't have a metric that does that. I kind of just go off of feel, are people bringing it up to me when I see them? Do they seem to enjoy what I'm putting out there? And if they do, then that's what I'm looking for.
Awesome stuff, guys. I don't know about all of you, but takeaways I got for sure is we got a lot of different answers. You guys catch that? That tells me there's not a right or a wrong way to do social media, but the point is you have to be consistent and you have to do it. If you don't do it, that's the only incorrect way. Do you all agree? You got to do something. Each of them have their own brand. They've branded themselves in a unique way using social media. And for that, I don't know about you, but I got a lot out of it. So round of applause. You guys can be thinking of this already, but I'm asking you what your, favorite book you're reading right now, social media thing you're looking at, resource, who's your motivational speaker you're listening to.
I'm kind of booked out. I think I'm trying to focus just on doing. I was one of those people that would read every single business book to get ready to start doing. And so a shift for me has been no more reading, only doing. But I do listen to the Gary V audio experience, Gary Vaynerchuk. If I can beg you guys to do one thing here today, it would be to listen to that podcast, especially his keynotes. And that got, 3 years ago, I wasn't on social media at all. It wasn't on my phone. I didn't do anything. And I was very judgmental. I thought people were vain who were on it. I thought it was fake. I thought they were salesy. All the things that you hear people say, why they don't do it. And I realized a couple things. Number one, I was just scared to do it. Number two, I was being judgmental, and I needed to knock that off. And listening to him, really, I had a full paradigm shift. And I've had relationships with people. I have friends. It sounds ridiculous. I have friends who I've never met on Instagram, and I would call them my friend. I like them. They like me. We interact all the time. And you can have genuine relationships on social media. And if you don't want to be fake or you don't want to be salesy, well, don't be fake and don't be salesy. I mean, it's really that simple. So, Gary Vaynerchuk.
Give these guys a round of applause. You guys are good. Congrats.